if you totally messed up on your regular title, use the tagline and subtitle. And you might be asking yourself, well, is it hard to change the title of my podcast? No, it's not. Once you have been approved, you usually can just go in there, change the title, and it will update in real time.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, podcaster, it's your host, Adam Adams. And on this episode, we are talking about a couple things. One is a tagline, one's a subtitle. And technically, they are different things. They are going to be used for the same purpose as we talk about it in this episode. And ultimately, what that means is you're going to have a title to your podcast, your whole entire podcast. This one's called The Podcast on Podcasting. And that's going to be your title. And then you're going to have a subtitle right after it or a tagline right after it. Now, it's up to you whether you use a subtitle or a tagline. The goal of it is going to be the same either way. It's going to have two pieces. So write it down. Two main pieces that are most important for you to incorporate through the tagline and the subtitle. What's the issue? The issue comes when your podcast title became too creative, too clever, and not concise. So when we say when it's clear and concise, those two C words, it's good. When it's clever and it's, I don't remember the other one, but when it's clever or just a fun, exciting, or something that you just came up with and you think it's going to be great. The problem is if it's not clear, it's not concise, then you don't know if your perfect listener, we'll call him or her the avatar, you don't know if your perfect listener is going to find you because you came up with a catchy or creative title like the Ooga Boogas. You came up with a clever or catchy title like, I can't even think on the spot anymore, but you get it. Like when you put your heart and soul and you just come up with a title and you're just like, ooh, that's cool. It incorporates part of my name, but nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. You know who you are. You created a clever or catchy title, but there's no SEO. There's no searchability. There's no talking to the avatar. You messed up. You messed up. You weren't clear with your avatar. You weren't concise with your avatar. And the avatar has no idea what you're thinking right now because you went so clever when you created a title. So you already made that mistake. Great, no problem. That means it's time to add a subtitle or a tagline. And where are you going to put the subtitle or tagline? Two places. The first of those two places that I want you to add the subtitle or tagline is just right there on your artwork. So right now, your artwork is 2 catchy words, 3 catchy words, 4 catchy words, but it means literally nothing to the person you're trying to attract. Your perfect listener, the avatar, the person you want to work with. It doesn't have anything to do with them. They couldn't find you. They don't know the name of your podcast. They don't know your first and last name already because they don't go and search for, I wonder if there's somebody named Amy Johnson and I could like type in Amy Johnson and then I could like listen to her stuff and it might be good and it might be bad, but I'm just going to randomly type in some random name, Amy Johnson. It's not going to work for you. Don't be clever. Don't use your business name. Don't use random colors. I was guilty of this. I had a company called Blue Spruce. And I'm like, well, Blue Spruce, because it means the blue spruce is an actual tree, but it only grows in like Colorado and Utah. And so people are going to know that we come from here. And it's interesting because a blue spruce stands out from the other trees. And so you see like regular spruce trees, you see fir trees, you see pine trees, you see deciduous trees. Then you got this gorgeous blue spruce. And that's going to be the name. So I named my company Blue Spruce, and that was catchy. That was clever. That was something that I knew what it meant, but my perfect avatar, if we go back in history, that was my company, was a real estate investing show. Nobody is looking to place capital and specifically searching for Blue Spruce at all. And so we had this company called Blue Spruce Holdings, and people can't just randomly find us. When I came up with the title of this podcast, The Podcast on Podcasting, I wanted it to be clear and concise. I wanted my perfect avatar to be able to search it. I didn't call it Blue Spruce. I didn't call it Adam Adams. I didn't call it any random thing. that somebody who didn't already know me could find. I called it something that someone didn't know me can find. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't just say it backwards, but you get what I'm saying. So if you got clever, if you got creative with your title, if you named yourself some color or just your name, or you put in your business name for your podcast, I'm not going to say you're dumb, but you made a bad mistake. And how do you fix it? You got to do a subtitle or a tagline. Again, there's two places that you're going to put this. It's going to be right there on the artwork. I talked to you about how you might have 2, 3, 4 words of the title there. Now that you have that, great. And you're going to add a subtitle. So you think about, what is your avatar searching for? SEO, search engine optimization. So you're thinking about your perfect person. Let's call her Emily. So Emily is, let's say, 23 years old. Say she's going through this. She's having a trouble with this. What she wants to overcome is that. This is what keeps her up at night. Her ultimate goal is to be able to become this thing in this amount of time. She's a mom or she's not a mom. She's one or the other. That's your perfect avatar. It's Emily. And now you're thinking, well, okay, I messed up. I made a clever, creative title, and I need something more concise and clear that she's going to search for. SEO, search engine optimization. So if she types in, how do I start a podcast? Or if she types in, how do I start a online business? You're going to put that thing in your subtitle. You're going to say, how to start an online business for single moms. You'll put in how to launch your very first podcast with 3 easy steps. Whatever it is, you put in a concise, clear subtitle. It'll go on the artwork. And where's the other place that it's going to be? It's going to be actually part of the title. Now, this gets confusing because you're like, well, so I'm just going to have a really long title? Yes, because you already messed up. And so now you need to add to it so people can find you. And so you put it in anything that you think Emily's going to search for. And so SEO driven, and anything that's going to call out your avatar. When she sees it, she's going to say, man, this is for me. So it's like for struggling single moms. And now that is a thing that's going to call her out. She's going to say, man, that's me. I guess I got to listen to this podcast. So find a way. If you have not yet created your actual title, you're in a great position because you can create a title to your podcast that is clear and concise, that she's going to look for you and search for you and find you. And you can make the subtitle the thing that tracks her to saying, oh my gosh, like this person knows me. They know what I'm going through. And this just seems like it's speaking to me. That's what you want her to do. That's what you want him to do. So again, on this episode, we are talking about taglines and subtitles. We talked about if you totally messed up on your regular title, use the tagline and subtitle. We talked about it being into 2 different places, that is on the artwork of the podcast and actually part of the title. And you might be asking yourself, well, is it hard to change the title of my podcast? No, it's not. Once you have been approved, you usually can just go in there, change the title, and it will update in real time. It'll update so that within a couple of hours, your whole list sees now your title with a subtitle. And now you're more SEO driven, and you're more likely to call out that avatar, Emily, to say, man, this woman, she knows what I'm going through. I need to listen to this episode because it just seems to speak to me. I'll see you on the next episode. This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learn. If you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefit so that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.